Hi everyone! Welcome to day 3 of your wildly vibrant year. I'm your host, Dr. Nancy Kroll. I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine based out of Santa Fe, New Mexico. I focus on coaching women how to heal chronic health conditions through healing their gut, balancing their hormones, and taking radical responsibility in their life. We do that through really uncovering false limiting beliefs and stagnant emotions through the Taoist 5 elements. So thank you so much for joining me today. Hey Katie, if you're just coming on, if you guys can tell me if you can hear me, that's always really helpful, since I had some issues with the audio the first day and I didn't know it. Hold on, I'm a bit so thirsty. So I had an interesting day. I am in my car doing our call today, and that is because I'm 100% committed to supporting you guys, and I'm committed to keeping our time, but my day kind of went crazy. We were supposed to drive to my mom's today for the holidays, and that didn't happen because I went to apply for my son's passport and realized that I was missing some things, so I needed to stay an extra day, and then my back went out and I needed to go to the chiropractor. So long story short, here I am in the car to support you guys. Hey Susan, Susan or Katie, and anyone that, I think there's a few of you watching right now. Let me know if you can hear me. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me. So, hi Carol. Hey Susan. Okay, great. So there's a delay always. I hate that delay. So I have been loving all of the engagement that's happening on the Facebook page. You guys are really, taking responsibility and diving in to the assignments. So sorry. Yeah, I know, the back. But you know what? I am a huge fan of the chiropractor. That's another story. And I'm fine now. So luckily, as long as I can, be supported. Yay, everyone can hear me. So anyways, what I was saying, and not to get distracted about my problems, is that I've been loving all of your shares. Everyone is being really authentic and vulnerable and sharing not only what they want to create in 2019, but some of the problems that they've been having in terms of their symptoms. And then we've moved on to day 3, where we're talking more about where your level of commitment is. And commitment is huge when it comes to a long-term health condition that we're wanting to resolve. And before I go into why commitment is so important, I definitely wanted just to take a moment and acknowledge everyone that is in pain and suffering, okay? These exercises are not to negate your pain and suffering. It is not to negate that there are serious health issues that may be happening for you, okay? That is all real, okay? I'm not saying that is not real. The purpose of these exercises is for you to be able to dig deep in order to identify what's underneath this, right? Because typically when we start to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, like what's under it, we get to some really core wounds, like low self-worth, low self-esteem, shame, guilt, right? All these real dark emotions that are stagnated in us that we've kind of held on to from early childhood or experiences in our life that are no longer serving us. So that's the purpose. Is not to say that you aren't actually, having the pain and suffering. It's to actually start to move through it and identify what's holding you back, right? So anyways, today's exercise, I just wanted to make sure we are on the same page here, because the way that I work with clients is a combination of the two. So it's not purely just the psycho-emotional and the metaphysical. It's also diet, lab tests, herbs, and that sort of thing. Does that make sense, you guys? I just want you guys to know this, right? It's a two-prong approach, or even three-prong approach. You have to be, you can, on some level you can heal yourself through healing the emotions, but you also, that by doing that you would also be healing yourself through your diet, lifestyle, herbs, and all that, because that would essentially transform as well as a result. Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear, so everyone that's watching this knows that I'm just not saying whatever you're suffering from is complete BS, because you know it's real. You're experiencing it. But I want you to have a major breakthrough and shift through that this year. So that's why we're doing this work. So today's exercise, I had you do two different things. One was rate yourself from a 1 to 10 on your level of commitment in transforming those 3 symptoms that you listed, right? 1 being the least committed and 10 being the most committed. So I want you guys, if you haven't done this, you can just do it now. Answer me. Where are you from 1 to 10? Okay. If you're watching, you guys can comment below where are you at from a 1 to 10 in your level of commitment. The thing is, when it comes to transforming any transformational work, I mean, just wanting major change, you really need to be an 8, 9, or 10 in order to make that happen. If you're anything below an 8, you're not ready. Okay? And I want you guys to be extremely real with yourself why you're not an 8, 9, or a 10. Or even why aren't you a 10, right? What is that doesn't make you a 10? So Carol says she's a 10. Susan says she's a 10, right? So, and Susan actually is a client of mine, and I know she's a 10, okay? Susan is like 100% committed. I say jump, she says how high. And she's having some major transformation. Are there setbacks? Yeah, but she's had major transformation. So you do need to be at 8, 9, or 10 in order to start to see changes in your health. So Emmy says my level is an 8, still have some fears or apprehensions, but very motivated. So Emmy, yeah, sit with what those fears and apprehensions are. Like, what is that's holding you back, right? Because you want to start to filter through these things, because whatever that one thing is, whatever those fears or apprehensions are the same things that are holding you back in other areas of your life. Like, there is no separation in our lives. How we show up in one area is how we show up in all areas. So if you're not showing up 100% for your health, you're probably not showing up 100% in your relationships, in your job, right? For your kids. So just taking a moment to sit with that. So that's some food for thought for everyone. Thank you guys for sharing, Carol, Susan, and Emmy. And then the second thing that I had you guys do was I had a whole list of questions. I think there were about 16 of them. And they were statements, and you basically needed to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 where you sat with that statement. So 1 was, don't really resonate with it. And 5 was, that's me to a T kind of thing, right? And 3 was like kind of somewhere in between. Sage, sit down, please. Sage is actually in the car with me, you guys. So, he's very quiet though. So anyways, so on that exercise, you really needed to, so that, if you guys didn't get what those were questions around, those questions are around where you lie in the whole victim mentality. Okay. And again, in order to be ready for major transformation, your score needed to be 32 or less. If your score was over 32, I highly suggest you go back through and you kind of sit with some of those numbers that were 3 or above and see why that is, right? And see if you're even capable of transforming for yourself that viewpoint. Because again, if we're in a victim mentality, we're not going to be taking radical responsibility for our lives. And if we're not taking radical responsibility over our lives, again, you're not going to be ready for the massive transformation that you're wanting. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. I love my hat too. I got it in Baja this spring. And I got one of those beautiful dresses that they make as well. But this is definitely kind of like a fusion of modern and traditional. But so take a look at those score. Where are you? I think I shared this with you guys maybe last call, is that I had a major realization this summer of how much I played a victim in my life, right? And if we're playing victim, then we're in a place of scarcity. Everything's happening to us. We're not actually asserting our power. If you're in that place, you're not going to be creating the change that you want. Does anyone feel like that? Has anyone identified that maybe they haven't been playing full out, taking full responsibility, taking the reins, right? When you don't have the reins, right? If you're not in responsibility for your health in your life, then you're kind of at the whim of everyone else. So you're at the whim of everyone's like happiness. So you're waiting for everyone else to make you happy. You're waiting for everyone else to help you. You're waiting for, you know what I'm saying? And then when you're upset, it's everyone else's fault, right? So that's all victim stuff. So it's really, really important to start to shift that for yourself and realize you get to be the driver of your life, right? So you get to choose. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge, scores 50. I mean, just said her scores 50. And yes, huge realization. And these like questions are not to shame anyone. There's no shame in this game. Being vulnerable and open and sharing this helps in your transformation, right? We all have our shit. We do. We get to like transform it so that we get to be our highest, best versions. So, the reason why this was part of the 5-day training is that if you guys are not committed, you will fail, because transformation is not easy. Susan, who's probably still watching, she knows that she could probably even say that what she has done is not easy, but she is committed, right? And when you're committed, the vision of what's on the other side is what drives you, right? If you don't have that vision and you don't have that commitment, as soon as like you get some sort of setback or you get stressed out or whatever, you're not having a good day, your whole plan goes down the drain. So it's really important that you really align yourself with the vision that we worked on in day 1, and you get yourself 100% committed, right? So that means even when you're feeling like, I don't know, tired. I mean, even when I'm sick, and granted, you guys, my journey in my own health has been like it's an evolution, right? We're never at the top of the mountain. We're never at the top of the mountain called health, where we're like, yeah, we're at the top of the mountain, and then that's it. No, health is a teeter-totter. And if you're suffering right now a lot, you're basically at one end of the teeter-totter, and you're going boop, 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 and you got highs and lows, right? Health is standing in the middle of the teeter-totter, where you have a little movement, right? So no matter what, your health journey literally will never be over till the day you die, but your suffering and your pain can be. Do you understand how that could be? So like when we have these symptoms that come up, this is just our body communicating with us. It is our spirit communicating with us. That will never end. You want that. That's feedback. It's neutral. Everything that's happening to you right now is completely neutral. And the more that you can identify it as neutral, the easier time you'll have. And so what I mean by this is, an analogy that one of my teachers used was when you're in an airplane, so when you're like on Southwest Airlines or whatever, And the pilots are like, they need to be at 5,000 feet. I should know this because my dad's actually a pilot, but I don't actually know how many feet you have to be. But anyways, so you're supposed to be at 5,000 feet. And they look down at all of the big board, and they look, and it says, oh, it's only at 3,000 feet. Well, the pilots don't go into a complete panic. Oh my God, poor us. Oh, we're doomed. We're at 3,000 feet. We need to be at 5,000 feet. Oh my gosh. Whatever story. They don't create a story around it. They don't create a victim story. No one did anything to them. They're not losers. They're not whatever the story might be that we like to create around things, right? Instead, what do the pilots do? They're like, okay, we're at 3,000 feet. We need to be at 5,000 feet. Let's redirect, right? Let's do what we need to do to get to 5,000 feet. End of story. And if we can do this in our life, in our health, the easier things happen. Let go of the story behind it all. Let it be feedback. Let it be feedback, right? You get a headache after whatever, not having a hard day or something like that. Oh, don't go into the whole story and attachment of poor me, I've got another headache, I'm never going to get anything done, whatever that story may be. It's, oh, my body's communicating something to me. Thank you so much, body, spirit. It could be dehydration, or it could be the fact that you're not like having boundaries or voicing your feelings or whatever that might be. You're the one that has to dig deep to find out what these things are, right? Maybe you have toxicity from your liver. There's all these different things that it could be, but you cannot kill the messenger, and the messenger is your body. So you have to love yourself back to health. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to take out the story and to find the neutrality in it and to ditch the victim story. We all have our victim story. We all have shit that happens to us on a regular basis. And the people that are succeeding and thriving versus the people that are not has a lot to do with the story that they tell themselves. I think I mentioned yesterday that every single one of our victim stories can be turned into and transmuted into a hero story. And if you got a score on the second one that was above 32, I want you to write down your life story, write down your health story as is, how you feel, like whatever. There's so many people abused, neglect, whatever that is. Write it down like that. And then I want you to write it again as a hero story. What was the good that came out of that? What is the resilience? What is the awareness? How are you able to show up and help people? Right? So we really have to empower ourselves. No one's going to do it for us. This is what you're being called to do through your pain and suffering. You're being called to show up for yourself. So the exercise today, I know it was like, you're probably thinking this was not exactly the plan I was thinking Dr. Nancy was going to give me, right? But this is what actually you need to do to have the foundation and the base for your transformation in 2019. Okay? If you're not there yet, it's okay. No judgment. Baby steps. You just got to keep going. Okay? All right. Does anyone have any questions? The delay is so funny because I get to stay here for in silence waiting for you guys, but I'll just keep talking for a minute to see if anyone has any questions. But I love your comments. Keep sharing, keep being vulnerable. This is a community situation, right? You guys get to share yourselves and feel supported and know that you're not alone in this. Everyone has, everyone can empathize with anything that you share. We are all here to support each other. Also, I really highly suggest you guys, I've offered you a call this week. I'm only going to be offering it till the end of the week. I'll put the link underneath this video. I'll also attach it to the email that I'll send out with this video. Take advantage of that. If you need some support, get it. Okay? I love you so much. I want you to have this transformation. Okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow.